In this video, I'm going to show you how to safely raise and support this Ford F-150. If you need any parts, check us out at oneauto.com. Let's get started. To begin, I just want to mention I am on a lift. However, if you're using jack and jack stands, all the information in this video will still apply the same way. The lift points are going to be the same, and because it's a full frame vehicle, basically anywhere on the frame is fair game and safe. However, here are the main points where you would want to lift so you could be safe and even. You don't want the truck to be heavier on this side and lean down, or this side and either go up or down. You want it to be as even as possible. When it comes to the front end, you're going to want to raise it up right here. When it comes to a floor jack, this right here will raise it up nice and even, left and right in the middle, the entire front end. You can put jack stands here and here. However, a better place would be a little bit further back on the frame. You could also support it with jack stands here. However, this is weaker than this, so I would not recommend it unless you have to. What you absolutely do not want to do is place any sort of support jack or jack stand or lift arm, anything on the control arms. So anything that moves that is suspension related, do not raise it or support it on there. It will most likely slip, fall off, and obviously I'm not going to go into the explanation of what can happen there, but it is dangerous. So although the control arms can support the weight of the vehicle, they will move up and will not be safe. Moving further back, but still in the front, you can see right where I have my lift arms, that is where you could also place jack stands. There are actually arrows, one on each side of the frame, where Ford recommends that you lift and support this end of the vehicle. Once again, this being the front end. One place you do not ever want to raise and support from is the running boards, which are these steps on the side, or the cab corners or the rails where the running boards actually bolt on. Those are weak points. They are not meant to support the weight of the truck. Moving further back, you can see that you have two straight pieces of frame rail, one on the passenger side and one on the driver's side. Both of those you can lift and support from. They are very sturdy. You can lift one side of the truck at a time if you place a floor jack underneath and then a jack stand accordingly in order to safely support it once it's up in the air. Once again, both sides here and here are fair game. Towards the back here, you can see the frame rail swoops up. No matter what cab and bed combination you have, it will do this, so do not place a jack stand right here where it's curved. It will slip and it will fall down. When it comes to raising and supporting the rear safely, you have multiple options here as well. These trucks come with a built-in trailer hitch from the factory. You cannot bumper tow with them, so you can use this as a safe place to raise. However, I would not support it there. So you can put your jack right here and lift it up, but this does come with other issues, that being it is higher off the ground. But if you have to do it, it is safe enough to do. It is bolted right onto the frame. Your next best option, and what I highly recommend, is going to be the rear differential. Right here, you can put a jack. This will evenly lift the entire rear end up, and then you can use jack stands right on the tubes, one on the left, one on the right, and support the entire rear end. But that will make it so the entire rear differential is still sitting up at right height on the truck. If you need it to droop down at all for whatever reason, you can jack it up here and then use some really tall jack stands and put them here and here, right where I have my lift arms. So right at the front where the leaf springs connect onto the frame, like I mentioned earlier, do not put them right here where the frame swoops up, but you can put jack stands where it's still flat, or right on the shackle, that bracket that mounts the leaf spring. I don't recommend putting them on the leaf spring, although it will hold. It is not a very safe place because they can move around. And although limited on the driver's side because of the fuel tank, you still have plenty of room to put a jack stand right here where my lift arm is, and support the frame of the vehicle with the rear end drooping down. If for some reason you decide that you only need to lift one wheel up at a time, you can put a jack stand right over here on the differential, on the tube itself, and of course without a jack stand, it is not safe to lift and support a vehicle. So let's quickly recap the areas that you can safely use to raise and support this vehicle. In the back, you have the trailer hitch if your vehicle has one, although not super convenient because it's so high off the ground. What I do strongly recommend is using the center of the rear differential to evenly raise and support the entire rear axle. This will lift up the whole frame and of course the vehicle, so you can use jack stands either on the rear differential tubes, on the frame right where my lift arms are, or on the flat part of the frame right along here where there's no curve to it. That's about it for the rear differential. In the middle, like I just said, you can use the two flat areas of the frame to both lift and support. I recommend multiple jack stands at all times. And moving over to the front end again, you can use the center crossmember area to raise and support the whole front end evenly. Make sure that you put some jack stands either here and here, but your jack might be in the way of those areas, so even though they are strong enough, you might have some issues. You could actually also put them on the front of the frame, right here and right here, or right where my lift arms are at the moment, and that's exactly where those arrows are on the frame that suggest the proper lifting point for this truck. So you can put jack stands right over there after you've lifted up the front end with your jack. Once again, I recommend against using this cross member here because it is somewhat weaker and could bend, could damage things, and you don't want the jack stand to slide out from underneath it. And on that note, once again, do not use the control arms to raise or support. Anything that is suspension related and moves is out of the question. So there you have it. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, don't forget to leave a like. And as always, don't forget to subscribe and ring that bell so you can stay up to date with all of our latest content. Thanks for watching.